Adam, a very quick one. I don't know Ohanaeze Ndigbo because of the revelation in the book of IBB, Ibrahim Badamusi Babangida. You know, Ohanaeze Ndigbo apụtala kwuo si ebe ọwụ na Babangida ekwuole that the 1966 Q is not Igbo Q. Federal government of Nigeria under Tinubu won the Igbo 10 trillion naira. Anya achọghị 10 trillion naira. Anya need the ego ndị Nigeria. Ego Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ndị Igbo need here. There is no amount of compensation that will equate the sufferings of Ndị Igbo because of 1966 Q. Till Aloaga Biafra. Till today. There is no compensation, even in billions, even in $1 trillion, even in trillion pounds, even in trillion euros, that can assuage the sufferings and the things the Igbo man has underwent in this country called Nigeria. So we don't need money. I was expecting Ohanaeze Ndigbo to come up with something tangible, something that is generally acceptable. Anya wuhunde na ata ego. Anya wuhunde akpiri ego. Oka akwa ego na account onye ka ya akwa. Akwa this 10 trillion naira na account onye ka ya akwa. Ahapụ ihe dị mkpa ya ekwu inyo. Ahapụ ihe bara uru ayi ekwu na akọheri. Hapụ Nnamdi Kanu ayi ekwu okwu ka release. Because if there was no misconception about Ndị Igbo from 1966 till date, Nnamdi Kanu aka heputakwu ihe ọ na-ekwu. Ma the one for Biafran state. And that is the truth. Abru na treat this country, otu she kweshi treat a country. This place is a country. That is not a country. It is just an enterprise of the British colony. Where they bring this one, bring the other one. Akwụwa Hejiri enami Nigeria. Hejiri enami Nigeria. No then I will country. While in the right sense of it. According to Oxford Dictionary, what is a nation? A nation is a group of people with the same language. That is the same tongue. The same culture. The same tradition. The same way of living. The same worship. The same religion. That is a nation. Is Nigeria a nation? No. So, let us not be deceiving ourselves. Now, Babangida has told us the truth after 50-something years of 1966 coup. And people are clapping for him. We are not clapping for him. We are not clapping for Babangida. Because we already know, a real Igbo man knows the truth. A real Igbo man knows that 1966 coup is not an Igbo coup. If I join them, Nzogu had them. These people are Igbo by name. They are not Igbo by birth. They are not Igbo by training. They are not Igbo by culture. They are not Igbo by whatever. They are just Igbos by name. They were born, bred, trained in the north. So we know that 1966 coup is not an Igbo coup. It is just how do I put it? A paraphernalia to destroy the Igbo nation, to hate the Igbo nation, to call us whatever they want to call us. They say, give a dog a bad name and hang it. That was what they did with the 1966 coup. Even IBB in the same book acknowledged that it was an Igbo man that stopped that same coup they claimed was an Igbo coup. Obienu stopped the coup. Even in that same book, the plotters knew that the turmoil, the calamity, the triggers that triggered the 1960 coup started from the southwest. And their plan was to install Awolowo as president. So how come it is an Igbo coup? See, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, we don't need trillion. Nnamdi Kanu's release. All you question demand. And the referendum. Ka John Ndigbo ihe achọrọ. These are the two things Ohanaeze Ndigbo kwesịrị ekwu. See release Nnamdi Kanu without further delay. Then, they conduct a referendum na Southeast Nigeria. Jụọ ha. Gịnị ka unu chọrọ? These are the two things. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Conduct a referendum na Southeast Nigeria. Jụọ na gịnị ka unu chọrọ? For over the years, we have blackmailed you people. We have done this, we have done that to you people. We have treated you like second class and third class citizens of this nation. Then, gịnị ka unu chọrọ? Ohanaeze Ndigbo, ntị ọ dịkwa. Ohanaeze Ndigbo, ntị ọ dịkwa. Use your own brain, uno. Use your own brain, uno. I don't understand. Ohanaeze Ndigbo, ya na-akwụ n'ekwo. At the end of the day, they come out with ihe na-enwe isi. This is an opportunity for Ohanaeze Ndigbo, for the entire Southeast, to say, this is what we want. For blackmailing us for 50-something years, for calling us this, calling us that, for calling when you know not offer. This is what we want. That is what Ohanaeze Ndigbo should champion. Release Nnamdi Kanu, then Biano conduct a referendum na Igbo. John Ndigbo. Gịnị ka unu chọrọ? Ekuchakwa m.
Ohanaeze Ndigbo demands apology from Tinubu over civil war, calls for 10 trillion naira reparations. The Apex Igbo socio-cultural organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, has demanded a reparation amounting to 10 trillion naira from the federal government for what it described as long-standing inequities perpetrated against the Igbo nation. It said that the demand is a necessary acknowledgement of the value of human lives lost and the cultural and infrastructural devastation endured by her people, which remains evident even 55 years post-conflict. The Deputy National President General, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Mazi Okechukwu Isiguzoro, made this known in a press statement while reacting to some of the issues raised by the former head of state. General Ibrahim Babangida, in his recent book launch titled A Journey in Service, Isiguzoro lamented that Igbo people have continued to suffer from systemic injustices and marginalization, especially in the area of state creation, where the Igbos have the least number of states within the federation among all the ethnic groups. He said that it is a political conspiracy to deny Igbos from ascending to Nigeria's presidency, coupled with the fact that they face deliberate omissions of federal government presence in the southeast. The tragic closure of the Eastern Economic Corridor, characterized by the permanent shutdown of the Calabar seaport and other critical infrastructures, underscores the extent of our exclusion. Additionally, the implementation of the federal government's discriminatory policies, exemplified by the quota system and the absence of functional international airports in the southeast, serves to reinforce the barriers to our equitable participation in the socio-political fabric of Nigeria. We demand a public and unreserved apology from the President on behalf of past military regimes, particularly that of General Yakubu Gowon, who orchestrated unprovoked bombardments and shellings over Igbo territory during the Nigeria-Biafra War that resulted in immense human suffering and loss. Furthermore, we maintain our resolute stance that the Nigerian federal government must dispel the long-standing inequities perpetrated against the Igbo nation by paying reparations amounting to 10 trillion naira. This demand is not merely a demand for financial restitution or restitution, it is a necessary acknowledgement of the value of human lives lost and the cultural and infrastructural devastation endured by our people, which remains evident even 55 years post-conflict. The Deputy President called on President Tinubu to embrace the moment for genuine reconciliation and restorative justice, thereby laying the foundation for a united and harmonious Nigeria, where the scars of the past give way to a brighter future for all citizens. He commended General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida for his bold and historic assertion that the January 1966 coup d'etat was unequivocally not an Igbo coup. Isiguzoro stated that such courageous acknowledgement stands as a crucial milestone in altering the narrative that has unjustly painted the Igbo people as antagonists within the broader scope of Nigeria's tumultuous political landscape. The apex Igbo socio-cultural organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, wholeheartedly commends General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida Ib for his bold and historic assertion that the January 1966 coup d'etat was unequivocally not an Igbo coup. This courageous acknowledgement stands as a crucial milestone in altering the narrative that has unjustly painted the Igbo people as antagonists within the broader scope of Nigeria's tumultuous political landscape. It signals a potential cessation of the entrenched vindictiveness, cruelty, and deep-seated animosities directed toward the Igbo nation over the past 5 decades. This mischaracterization incited the July 1966 counter-coup against the then military head of state of Igbo descent and precipitated violent uprisings targeting Igbo citizens residing in northern Nigeria, sowing seeds of discord that ultimately contributed to the tragic Biafra War, in which 3 million Igbos, predominantly women and children, lost their lives, he stated. Nnamdi Kanu petitions CJN over Chief Judge's refusal to reassign case from recused Justice Nyako. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has written to the Chief Justice of Nigeria CJN, Kudirat Kekere Ekun, for an urgent intervention in his case at the Federal High Court, Abuja. Kanu, through his legal team led by his special counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor, in a letter dated February 19, 2025, wrote to the CJN over the Federal High Court Chief Judge's refusal to withdraw the case from the recused judge, Justice Binta Nyako, and reassign it to another judge. The purpose of this communication is to most respectfully request your lordship's prompt administrative intervention, directing the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to abide by the law and assign this case for trial to a court that possesses the requisite jurisdiction, the letter stated. The letter further read, "This case commenced in 2015 and was pending trial before Honorable Justice Binta Murtala Nyako until September 24, 2024, when his lordship, pursuant to the request of our client, recused himself from presiding over the trial and accordingly entered and enrolled an order of recusal thereof. In our reaction, we countered with a reply, opposing the RE listing or reassignment of the case to the same judge, because the order of recusal, being extant and subsisting, legally barred his lordship from presiding over the trial, or has otherwise ousted the jurisdiction of that particular court. In total disregard of the incontrovertible facts enunciated above, the Honourable Chief Judge proceeded to reassign this case for trial before the same judge who stands recused by the said order of recusal. And on February 10, 2025, our client was summoned to appear for trial before the same judge. The letter noted that upon the receipt of the hearing notice, Kanu's legal team wrote a letter to the Federal High Court Chief Judge, protesting the reassignment of the case to Justice Nyako. It read, "In the alternative, requesting for transfer of the case to the Southeast, prompted by credible information at our disposal, indicating that no other judge in the Abuja division of the Federal High Court is willing to take the case, in addition to the fact that Southeast is the place where the offences were alleged to have had impact. In the meantime, the defendant had, on January 14, 2025, filed a complaint against the said recused judge before the National Judicial Council, and the said complaint is still pending. Despite the foregoing, the said honourable judge neither responded to our said letter nor reassigned the case to a judge other than the said judge that was recused. Thus, on the said February 10, 2025, we, out of our abiding respect for the sanctity of the court, appeared under protest before the recused judge, whereupon the said court, sans jurisdiction, entered an order of adjournment, sine die. Kanu argued that in Okaduwa v. State 1988, the Supreme Court held that a judge's withdrawal from a case due to allegations of bias renders any subsequent involvement in the same case improper. Similarly, he noted that in Rashidi v. Ministry of Health 1990, the court emphasized that judicial integrity requires that recusal decisions be final unless properly reviewed. The letter noted, "This apex court has pronounced in a plethora of cases that a judge who has demonstrated bias or is perceived to be biased ought to recuse himself. This stare decisis was emphasized in Dedua v. Okorodudu, 1976, 10 SC 329, in which the Supreme Court held that justice must not only be done but must be seen to be done. And to be sure, recusal of a judge is anchored on the constitutional right to a fair hearing as provided under Section 36(1) of the Nigerian Constitution, which guarantees the right of our client to be heard by an impartial tribunal. Thus, once a judge voluntarily recuses himself, the immediate legal consequence is that such a judge is disqualified from further proceedings in the matter. Kanu stated that a decision or an order of recusal is akin to a decision on jurisdiction which cannot be reversed arbitrarily. This mischaracterization incited the July 1966 counter-coup against the then military head of state of Igbo descent and precipitated violent uprisings targeting Igbo citizens residing in northern Nigeria, sowing seeds of discord that ultimately contributed to the tragic Biafra War, in which 3 million Igbos, predominantly women and children, lost their lives, he stated. Stay tuned for more updates, stay safe, and have a blessed day.